On October 17th, I had what would be my last conversation with my grandmother. She had turned 80 just a month earlier, still living on her own, still managing. She told me she missed me, and I told her I missed her too. We talked about me visiting soon. Just a couple of weeks, we said. There was time. I can still hear her voice, warm but a little tired, complaining about the weather like she always did. I didn't know that would be the last time I'd hear it. If I had known, I would have stayed on the phone longer. I would have told her how much she meant to me, how much I loved her. But I thought there would be more calls, more visits, more time. There wasn't. 3 days later, I got a message. She was in the hospital. At first, it seemed like she might recover, but that hope didn't last. Suddenly, I was rushing to catch a train, praying I wouldn't be too late. I was. That conversation on October 17th was the last real moment I had with her. Just a few days later, she was gone, and I never got to say goodbye. On October 19th, just a week before my 24th birthday, everything changed. It started with a simple message from my mother. Farmore is in the hospital. That's all we know. We'll keep you updated. I read it during my break at work, my heart sinking, but I told myself it would be okay. She was strong. She had to be okay. By the time I left work at 4 p.m., my father called. It's serious, but she seems to be getting better. Mom and I will visit her after dinner. If nothing changes, you can see her this weekend. I clung to those words. Getting better. Maybe there was time. That night, feeling a cold coming on, I went to bed early, my phone beside me, just in case. At 7:30 p.m., it rang again. My father's voice was different this time. You need to get on the next train. I hesitated. I have a cold. I don't want to get her sick. It doesn't matter. You need to come. Those words sent a chill through me. I grabbed my things and rushed out. The train ride felt endless. I just kept thinking, please let me see her awake. Let me talk to her one more time. But when I arrived, she was already unconscious. And I knew I was too late. The hospital room was quiet except for the sound of breathing. Hers, ours. We all stood around her children and grandchildren, waiting, hoping for something, though we knew there was nothing left to hope for. I had spent the entire train ride praying that I would make it in time, that she would still be awake, that I would get to hear her voice one last time. But when I arrived, she was already unconscious. There were no last words, no final exchange, just the rhythmic rise and fall of her chest, slowing with every passing hour. We waited. Midnight passed. I held her hand, feeling how small and fragile it had become. This was the same hand that had once held mine when I was little, guiding me, comforting me. Now all I could do was hold on, knowing I would have to let go. At 1 a.m., she took her final breath. Just like that, she was gone. 3 days earlier, she had been in her home, complaining about the weather, living her life. Now, she was gone. The unfairness of it all was suffocating. I had thought there would be more time, but time had run out. Yesterday, I graduated with my bachelor's degree. It should have been one of the happiest days of my life, and in some ways it was. I felt relief, pride, even joy. But beneath it all, there was an emptiness I couldn't shake. She wasn't there. I kept thinking about how she would have reacted. She would have complained about the awful campus coffee, just like she always did. And then she would have smiled, proud, happy, maybe even a little teary-eyed. I wanted that moment with her. I wanted to hear her voice, to see her face, to share this achievement with her. But she was gone. I had spent so much time imagining the future, assuming she would be part of it. I thought she would be there to see me graduate, to celebrate with me, to tell me she was proud. Instead, I was left standing in my cap and gown, feeling a hollow kind of happiness, wishing more than anything that I could have just one more conversation with her. She should have been there, and the fact that she wasn't made the day feel incomplete, like a joy forever tangled with loss.